Hello everyone, welcome back to the Baking Analyst channel, and today we mark 1 year of yield farming and we'll be having a look at some of the results. On this channel we cover everything from cryptocurrencies to economics and personal finance with a focus on yield farming as a wealth building tool for now. So if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, do consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. If you're completely new to DeFi and cryptocurrencies, and you're wondering how on earth these people are staking their cryptocurrencies and making decent sums of passive income every single month, I actually have a free online course on Skillshare that you can access using a free trial in the link below, and you can cancel at any time at no cost to you whatsoever. So with that shilling out of the way, let's get right into it. So this week has been pretty brutal for BVS Finance or Cronos APRs. I mean, look at it, we're below 100% APR. Well, that is partly because of the dump in the farm token price, and also partly because some whales just came in, dumped a ton of liquidity into the pools, and therefore diluted the rewards. This week has been a light week for farm updates, however, because we don't really have that many new projects to ape into. I mean, you could try aping into smaller projects like CryptoSwap or swap.ee, which is not bad. Their APRs are slightly better and their team is doxed. Or you could try out ChronoSwap, which also has slightly higher APRs than VVS. But the problem with these dexes is that they tend to have very little liquidity, meaning that they're likely to suffer the same problem as VVS. However, the good news is that Cronos is actually running a hackathon, so this means that it is more likely that there'll be new projects launching soon and more farming opportunities there. But today the focus is really on looking back on this 1 year of yield farming and taking a closer look at the results and remind ourselves what exactly our strategy is, even if we might not see the strategy working very obviously in the early stages. So it's a bit of an introduction. I actually started yield farming in late December last year. So I was in Defichain and I adopted the strategy of just putting about $200 in my local currency into the Defichain app, where it was farming at about 400% APR to begin with, but eventually went down really quickly to like 100 to 200%. And then the strategy was to dollar cost average about $300 per month or $10 per day into the pools as and when either income from side hustles, employment, so on and so forth. And this also came with some ad hoc aping, which means taking additional capital and placing it in the farms that is above and beyond the $300 per month planned for dollar cost averaging. The reason for this ad hoc aping was because I was using the Ruby card over here from crypto.com to pay for college. And college is one of those big expenses, and therefore 2% on that was quite a bit. So what I was doing was I was taking the cash back that I got from my college fees and then putting it all into the farming pools just to see what happened. We also come to the last part, which is the most important part, and that is daily compounding. Daily compounding means that we take our farm tokens, sell them into our desired LP, and deposit them back into the staking pool. So let's see how this strategy worked out for us in 2021. In one of my earlier videos, I actually showed you this compound interest calculator graph that shows you that if you just put $10,000 as an initial deposit and deposit $200 per month monthly, which should be relatively accessible even to people who are not whales, at an interest rate or APR of 150% yearly and a time horizon of 3 years, we see that if we compound our gains daily, our real APY is somewhere in the region of 340 to 350% APY. And what is more interesting is the graph below. We see that in the first year or so, we actually don't make a substantial amount compared to what we make in years 2 and years 3. So let's go right back to the beginning. So in December 2020, I opened up this Defichain app and DFI token was at 47.5 cents. And I started farming it at around 200 to 400% APR. Then they cut emissions, added new pools, so it came down to around more like 100 to 200%. So for those of you who were around in December 2020, you will know that Bitcoin hit an all-time high in December 2020 and went on a massive bull run into 2021. To be fair, I did benefit from that quite a bit because in March 2021, when it was time to almost exit Defichain, DFI was at $3.80, which was somewhere around a 9x. I exited the Defichain ecosystem with about $2,000 and farmed at anywhere between 60 to 180% APR on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, one embarrassing story is that I did get wrecked on a rebase token called Tau BTC. It was run by the Bitcoin Standard Hash Rate Protocol, and that was because apparently their protocol only allowed you to sell 70% of your Tau BTC if this Bitcoin pegged token was below peg. So there's definitely a cautionary tale and something to look out for when you are buying into all these rebase tokens, forks, and any of these newfangled algorithmic stablecoin projects. Make sure that you can sell all your tokens at any time. So that was Binance Smart Chain, the wild west, and the ecosystem that was notorious for various rug pulls and scam tokens, including the recent one, which was the Squid Game token. Fortunately, I was able to exit Binance Smart Chain with about 4.5k, which was a profit of about $2,500 over the course of 2 to 3 months. I then moved on to Harmony One, where I first ate into ViberSwap and was farming at about 140 to 200% unlocked APR. And Harmony One was all well and good. We stayed there for about 5 to 6 months across different projects, trying to maintain 140 to 200% APR unlocked. However, when Cronos launched in November, VVS Finance was doing like thousands of percent APR to begin with, and actually lasted pretty long at about 300 to 400%. So it was a no-brainer to move funds from Harmony One over to Cronos, especially as it would be much easier to cash out or make use of the tokens by transferring them onto the crypto.com app. I exited Harmony One's ecosystem with about 12k and started farming on Cronos at about 150 to 400% unlocked APR. And that brings us to the present. So how much did we make farming for 1 year based on $200 of initial capital and a dollar cost averaging of about $300 per month? Now the figure that we want to pay attention to is month change, because this is our ROI net of additional principal added through dollar cost averaging. And as you can see here, we were doing like 453.89 per month. Now, of course, this $453 a month figure is largely brought up by the fact that DFI and Bitcoin were going to the moon in January and February 2021. So the real APR or real gains that are attributable to yield farming are likely to be much less than this. The next thing we want to look at is, yes, we can make negative returns. In fact, we do make negative returns during market corrections, such as the one seen in the May 2021 crash, which we saw a negative return even though yield farming was progressing as planned at about 100 to 200% APR, denominated in a token whose value was rapidly going down. However, as we will see, that negative return is not significant in the grander scheme of things when we look at all 12 months. And that's the beauty of yield farming, because you're accumulating more tokens whether you're in a bear or whether you're in a bull market. So once the price starts going up again, you get to see those gains that you would have made if prices had stayed the same. Now, the last bit of interest is the 1st of November and 1st of December figures. And these show that most of the gains happened in the last 2 months. And while this might seem counterintuitive and that, November and December were a fluke, this actually makes sense from a compound interest point of view. So overall, the APY for January to December 2021 has been about 264%, which is, I would say, not bad at all. And now these are just unlocked rewards. So all these figures do not account for the fact that I basically got a huge locked bag of Viper, locked bag of loot, DeFi Kingdoms, Jewel token, as well as Cosmic, which is yet another gaming token that is on Harmony One. And at this point, it is up to you how you want to account for these rewards and whether you want to include them in your ROI. Now, in this example, I didn't. Typically, I value them at less than or equal to 50% of the month end value if I'm going to use them. If a project doesn't pick up the pace or increase the utility of their token, it is likely to go to zero. However, there are of course exceptions like DeFi Kingdoms, where the Jewel token does a value accrual. People use it to claim NFTs, and people use it to hire NFTs, and people use it to play the game. And therefore, there is a reason for people to buy the Jewel token. And then the strategy for dealing with these unlocked rewards, as always, is to dollar cost out or dollar cost average out of your positions, because you never know which project is going to go to the moon and which project is just going to go to zero. So nothing wrong with taking some profits. Finally, I want to leave you with this. So this is a scene from Money Heist. If you guys have watched it, season 1, I believe. And this was where the robbers were essentially printing money using the machines inside the Royal Mint of Spain. And so the subtitle says, it all depended on the time we could hold on inside, it meaning that the amounts that they could get away with. And this is pretty similar to yield farming, because The longer we're able to stay in the market and in the farms and simply hold on and continue compounding our gains, the more that we're likely to be able to make off of it. And that is not even taking into account possible price appreciation of crypto assets that we are staking. So I hope this video has been informative and interesting. If you liked it, do consider leaving a like or a comment down below. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.